Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm an international medical graduate and in this video I'm going to walk you through my personal experience applying for the Australian 482 visa step by step. After securing a job offer in Australia and receiving my nomination letter, I began the visa process. And let me tell you, it was both exciting and overwhelming at times. So, if you are an IMG like me or just curious about how the 482 visa process works, stay tuned. I'll break it all down, the documents I needed, the timelines, some challenges I faced, and tips that might save you a lot of stress. Let's get started. First of all, you'll have to create your own ImmiAccount. Then you log into your account. Start a new application and select the visa category as 482 Skills in Demand Visa. Then you will be directed to a screen like this. Agree to the terms and conditions and click Next. This is the second step, where you have to select your current location and you have to state whether you are a citizen in that particular country or not. Next question is about the skill assessment. Has the applicant commenced or completed a skills assessment? I am an international medical graduate. I have started the AMC exams. Therefore, I have selected yes as my answer. Next comes the nomination details. Once you are selected for the particular employment, first your employer will lodge an application for you. And they will give you a reference number. Using that reference number, you can proceed. So in my case, they have given me the nomination application transaction reference number or the TRN. And I have mentioned that particular number in my application and then I can proceed. Thereafter, we have to complete the information about the primary applicant. In my case, the information about myself. First comes the passport details. We'll have to complete the family name and the given names. Select your gender. Mention your date of birth, the passport number and the country of passport. The nationality of the passport holder, date of issue of the passport and the date of expiry. And at the same time, you'll have to mention the place of issue or the issuing authority of your passport. And here they have particularly mentioned that they have strongly recommended that the passport to be valid for at least 6 months when you apply for your visa. Next, you will have to mention whether you already applied for an Australian visa and if you have any previous visa application. In my case, I did not have, so I selected no. Then, we'll have to mention the details about our national identity card that was issued in our home country. So, the basic details that they have asked is the family name, the given names, then the identity card's identification number, country of issue. You can add many identity documents if you have many. In my case, I had one, so I have included the details of that document. Next comes the details about the place of birth, where you have to mention the town or the city of birth, state or the province of birth, and the country of birth. Next comes the relationship status, whether you are single, married, like that you'll have to select. It's a drop down box. You can select any option that is suitable for you. Then we'll have to mention about the other names or other spellings of your name if you have any. Like for example, for females after marriage, they may have changed their name. Like that, you have to provide the details of any name changes. There also, you have to give the family name, given names, and the reason for their name change, like maybe the marriage. Then you'll have to mention whether you are a citizen of the particular selected country. And then you'll have to declare whether you are having dual citizenship, like you are having the citizenship of any other country as well. Next comes the other passport or documents for travel. If you have any old passports or any other documents of travel, then you can add those documents details in the relevant fields as well. I had an old passport, so I included all the details in that old passport. Next comes the any other identity documents that we are having. We can include the driver's license or the birth certificates. Preferably, it would be better if they are in English. So you just click add and mention the details. You can also edit or delete the documents details as well. Next comes the health assessment. I have already started a health assessment by the time of visa application. So I have selected yes for this question. Has this applicant undertaken a health examination for an Australian visa in the last 12 months? So the visa medical is valid for 12 months. Then they have asked about details. Then I mentioned that I have completed a medical examination. And for the medical examination, they give us a reference number, which is the HAP ID or the HAP ID. Then I mentioned the HAP ID as well. Once you have completed that, then comes the fourth step. This is about the critical data confirmation. Like all the information that you have already provided, you have to make sure, double check them and confirm that the information are correct. So in this screen, all the information that you have already submitted will appear in this darkened box. I have covered all my personal details, and then you have to select and yes as a confirmation of the mentioned details. This page also is already filled. Like this is the information that our employer has already provided. Like my visa stream was about core skills and the maximum visa period was up to 4 years. So these details will depend on your selection and your nomination application. Then there's an occupation name and a code that depends on your employment. That was also mentioned there. Then we'll have to acknowledge this information. Then I clicked yes and went to the next step. Next comes the sixth step, where we have to include the details of our family members that we are willing to accompany with us. So they have asked, are there any accompanying members of the family unit included in this application? We have selected yes. Then we'll have to give all the details of the members of the family unit. Then we click add here and fill the required details. First, we'll have to select the current location, the current country that the family members are living, and their legal status. This should be done separately to each and every family member. Then you'll have to declare the relationship to the primary applicant. Maybe the spouse, maybe the kids, like that you'll have to mention. Then the passport details. First of all, we'll have to select if the family member is over 5 years or not. Then as we have already done for the primary applicant, we have to mention the family name and the other given names, their sex and the date of birth. Then you will have to mention whether the family member have an Australian visa grant number from a previous visa application or not. Then we'll have to include the details about the national identity card of the family member. If the family member is having a national identity card, you can select yes for the question and include the details as we have done before. Or maybe for the kids, they may not have national identity card number. So in that cases, we can just select no and proceed. Then information about their place of birth, the town, city, state and province and the country of birth as we have done previously for the primary applicant. And then the relationship status of this accompanying family members. And like we have done before, we'll have to mention the other names of the other spellings of the family member and other passports or documents of travel that the family member is having. Then comes the questions about the citizenship of the family member. Next is the other identity documents and other passports. Then the health examination. If the family member is having other identity documents, you'll have to complete these details about that other identity document. Once we have mentioned all the required details about each and every family member, then you will be directed to a window like this where the names of these each and every family member with their date of birth is mentioned in this screen like this. So we'll have to confirm these and go to the next step. Next comes the contact details of the primary applicant. We'll have to select the country of residence and the residential address, where you have to mention the country, address, and also the postal code and the state or the province that the applicant is living. Then you have to mention if the postal address is the same as the residential address or not. If it's not, you'll have to provide more details. Then the contact telephone numbers should also be included. The next step, it's about whether you prefer to have an agent to deal with your application or whether you will be doing it on your own. So I did it on my own. So therefore I did not appoint any other authorized person to receive correspondence about my visa application. Then I selected no and I proceed. Next comes another important question about our travel history. So in this question, in the last 10 years, have any of the applicants visited any countries outside of their usual country of residence since turning 16 years of age? You have to select yes or no. If you've selected yes, then you have to provide more details, and if it's no, then you can proceed. Next, the countries of residence. We'll have to give details of all countries where the applicant or other applicants have spent total period of time that adds up to 12 months or more in the past 10 years since turning the 16 years of age. So this will not be applicable for shorter visits. Okay. Next comes the registration or licensing. Is registration or a license required to work in the nominated occupation in the location where the applicant will be working in Australia? So in my case, I am an international medical graduate pursuing to start my career as a medical officer in Australia, where I have to have the registration in AFRA. So therefore, I have selected that I need registration or licensing to practice in the nominated occupation. I have already obtained the AFRA registration. Therefore, for this question, does the applicant hold the relevant registration for license? I have selected yes and I proceed. Next come the details about skills assessment. Then we'll have to select the types of skills assessment, the name of the program, and the date the assessment was commenced, the identification number, and whether it's already completed or not. In my case, the type of skills assessment is the Australian Medical Council examinations, and I have selected the date that I have done the Australian Medical Council Part 1 examination. By the time of application, I haven't done my AMC Part 2 examination, so therefore I selected that skill assessment is not completed yet. Then the identification number is the AMC candidate number. Okay, next comes the details about our education history. I have obtained a bachelor degree, so I've selected my highest recognized qualification obtained as a bachelor degree, and then we'll have to answer the question, has the applicant completed or is currently enrolled in any studies at secondary level or above? If you have done any postgraduate studies, then we can mention the details about that particular program. Next comes the language skills. So if English is the applicant's first language, we can select yes. In my case, it was not. So then we'll have to undertake an English language proficiency test. So the question, has the applicant undertaken an English test in the last 36 months? I have had an English test. Then I selected yes. And has the applicant studied in a secondary and or tertiary institution where the instruction was in English? So I have completed my bachelor's degree, which was taught in English medium. So then I selected yes for this other question. Next is the employment history. The applicant declares that they have been working in a similar position for at least 1 year. So for the past 1 year, you must have worked in the similar occupation that you have already nominated. So I selected yes, and we'll have to mention the details about our past employment details, like the hospitals that we have worked, or the clinics, or whatever the profession that we have undertaken. We'll have to mention these details, including the position, employer, country, and the dates from to when, like that. And then the actions, it's very short or briefly mentioned about your actions or the responsibilities that you have undertaken. Next is the payments to employer. They ask us a question about, has the applicant agreed to pay the employer or the employer's agent for any purpose whatsoever, including but not limited to recruitment, travel, visa application, or agent fees. You'll have to declare whether you have agreed or not. Next, they ask a few questions about the application withdrawal. If the application for any associated sponsorship or nomination is refused or withdrawn, does the applicant wish to withdraw the visa application? Note: if the application is withdrawn, the case will be considered closed and any review rights to which the applicant might have been entitled are foregone. You'll have to select whether you want to withdraw your application or to keep your application if the nominated person or the employer has already withdrawn their application from them, that side. Okay. Next, if the applicant has paid the visa application charge and withdraws the application, is the applicant seeking a refund? So if you are willing for a refund, you can select yes, otherwise no. Do all the secondary applicants also wish to withdraw their applications? If the application for any associated sponsorship or nomination is refused or withdrawn, then you have to select whether the other applicants are also willing to do the same or not. Okay. Okay, next is the health declaration, where you have been asked lots of questions. In the last 5 years, has any applicant visited or lived outside their country of passport for more than 3 consecutive months? Do not include time spent in Australia. You declare whether it's a yes or a no. Does any applicant intend to enter a hospital or a healthcare facility, including nursing homes, while in Australia? So in my case, I was supposed to work in a hospital, so I selected yes. Does any applicant intend to work as or study or train to be a healthcare worker or work within a healthcare facility while in Australia? So like that, you'll have lots of questions to answer. So read carefully and give the honest answers. Okay? There's one more important question that I'll tell you. It says, does any applicant intend to be in a classroom situation for more than 3 months? Example, either a student, teacher, lecturer, or observer. So I had 2 kids at the time of application. So both were supposed to start their schooling. So therefore I mentioned their names under this requirement and included them as students. Again, the next step is a lot about reading and giving your honest answers to these questions. Has any applicant ever been charged with any offence that is currently awaiting legal action? Has any applicant ever been convicted of an offence in any country? Has any applicant ever been the subject of domestic violence or family violence? Has any applicant ever been the subject of an arrest warrant or Interpol notice? So like that, lots of character declarations that you have to read, understand and declare. Okay? Okay, now we have come to the final step where you have to declare few things. So these also please read carefully and mark the correct answers or the answers that are applicable to you. So first is that we have read and understood the information provided them in this application. Select, read carefully and then select the proper answer. Have provided complete and correct information in every detail on this form and on any attachment to it. Then you mention it. So like that you'll have to do this, and then you'll have to submit the application. Once you have submitted the application, the final step is about the payment. So then, depending on the number of applicants that you are having, number of adults and the kids, so your visa charges will be displayed in the screen. Also, there's an important step where you have to upload photos of the primary applicant and the family members that you are intending to accompany. So I went to a studio with my family members and took photos, asked for soft copies from them, and we'll have to submit them. So under each and every applicant, they have already asked for certain documents that they need, like the details of the documents that we have provided previously, like the identification documents, our driver's license, then birth certificates. So those documents that we have mentioned in the visa application, will have to upload PDF copies of those documents and a photo for identification. I couldn't take these screenshots of those steps because they contain a lot of confidential information. So once you have come to this point and submitted your visa application after making the payment, next comes one of the most difficult periods in our lives to wait. But we'll have to wait and see until all the processes is complete, and until we get that golden email mentioning our opportunity to enter the country and start a new life. Hope this video was helpful for you all. See you again in another video. Thank you. Bye.